Hi, oh, it's Palest Blue, but you guys can call me Harry. Today I've got a bit of Modern Warfare 2 for you guys, but I'm going to talk today without any real preparation. I don't think I really want anything written out or to go through anything that I've kind of carefully scripted. Because mainly today's kind of, I don't want to call it an outpouring of emotion, but it's a reaction to kind of how I was feeling kind of yesterday about the game and about Call of Duty in general, and I'll kind of give you a bit of background to how things are going. So, quite late last night I was playing a bit of free-for-all on Black Ops, as I tend to do, and I just got into quite a few unlucky lobbies, lobbies where there are players who don't generally have quite as high score per minute as I do, but they were doing very well in these free-for-alls. They were getting lots of kills, and other people in the game just kept running for them, and they kept getting up dogs and blackbirds. And so I lost quite a few free-for-alls actually, and given that I've recently been doing my free-for-all tip series, I was kind of be expecting to do better than that. But that's not the way it was, and in the end I ended up getting quite frustrated just by a lot of the bad luck that came my way, a lot of bad fortune. Some of the deaths were things I couldn't do anything about, and they came at particularly inopportune times. For example, on this Nuketown game, I had a blackbird up at the same time as this other guy, and he just got to his 11 kill streak, and I got to 10, and then I died. And that really, that one death at that precise moment in time cost me the entire game. Not getting the dogs, because obviously his dogs ran riot, and there were some other silly things, such as when we were playing on grid. I was trying to shoot a lot of the dogs, which is something you really have to do in a free for all, because in a way you want to kind of protect your enemies from enemy dogs, because otherwise your opponent is going to pick up lots of kills from those dogs. So I was trying to shoot the dogs, and I don't know if this has happened to any of you guys in the past, but this dog just sort of leapt up at me from about, I'm going to say about 20 yards, 25 yards. Literally leapt from 25 yards straight into my player's throat, and I fell limp onto the floor. So, to cut a long story short, I ended up rage quitting. It's not something that happens particularly often, and I'm not going to say it's not happened before, and I think it's something that everybody does. So kind of what I want to do with this commentary is sort of sit back and think, how should I react to these sort of situations in the future, and what advice can I give to other people, and what advice can I give to myself? And I think sometimes it's just a lack of perspective that makes us rage quit. I think we're as humans, we're such short-term beings that we only see the now, and if we do badly in a game, or if we do badly in several games, or if we get lucky, or even unlucky, then we'll tend to associate that with kind of actually how things are, rather than just kind of an anomaly, something that doesn't quite fit into the trend. So it's easy when you're doing badly to actually think that you're not quite as good a player as you thought you were. When of course, if you play a game of free-for-all against that guy on Nuketown 100 times, you actually might win 90 times, and in fact, or 95 times maybe, and that one time when you just lost was a very rare occasion. But it's hard to see that in kind of the heat of the moment. And in fact, I think a lot of the best players of this game are those who can take the frustrating moments and can kind of clear them, or justify them to the extent that they don't, the frustrating moments don't affect those people anymore. And that's something I've got to work towards, certainly in my public match game. But frustrations are inevitable in this game. There's something about Call of Duty that makes it frustrating but rewarding. And I think, in some ways, I don't think it'd be rewarding unless there was also the capacity for frustration. It's the extreme highs and lows that you feel when you play this game, I think, that keep a lot of people coming back. The way that you can suddenly dominate and be the #1 player in the lobby and absolutely run the show, and then the next game you can be trampled all over. That's kind of a fluctuation that you don't get in many other games, I don't think. And so while it makes for quite an addictive game, I think, and a game that keeps you coming back because it's so hard to attain that perfection, equally it makes quite a frustrating game, and one that's hard to persist with, especially at 4 o'clock in the morning. So I think certainly something I've got to take away from this in the future is to remember that something that happens in the short term is not necessarily any indication of what's happening in the long term trend. perhaps the last thing that I'll quickly touch on in this commentary is when people send. I mean, it happens to me all the time, but I'm sure it's happened to some of you guys as well. When you might win a free for all, or you might win a game very easily, and you sort of get some sort of hate message. Oh, you're a camper, you're a noob, all this and that. And that happened yesterday. This guy, just before the grid free for all that I ended up losing and rage quitting on, I beat this guy in Nuketown. He managed to get up his dog. Again, I don't think I managed to get up my dogs, but I still managed to win, just about, won by a few kills. But then he sent me a message after that game, saying, "Oh well, you define camper," and that's certainly not how I would describe my playstyle. Maybe not the most aggressive player ever. Well, in free for all I do try to play quite aggressively, but I certainly wouldn't call myself camper. But in the next game, when he's plugging away and he's getting his dogs, and all the other noobs in the lobby are kind of rushing straight for him, and he's just picking them off, and there's really nothing you can do about it. Well, and you know that he sent you that message, and he's now probably thinking to himself, how much of a better player he is. I don't know. That's something that I don't know. I find it hard to come to terms with sometimes, and ends up being quite frustrating for me. So I'll have to look at that myself and try to sort myself out in that respect, I think. But I just thought I'd share my frustrations with you, and hopefully you guys will kind of understand and be able to empathise, maybe. Thanks a lot, guys.